Okay, I don't have to keep telling you. Spoiler alert. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for American Horror Stories. This is episode 3 of season 1. This was called Drive-In. Listen, we are right where I want it to be, basically. I've been hoping that the show was exactly like what I thought they were actually saying. It's like the Twilight Zone. It's individual episodes. Sometimes it's a double episode, but they're all individual and they're all these small individual stories. Really, I nod back to the Twilight Zone, and I am here for it. So some stories I'm going to enjoy more than others. I like horror. I do. I like horror. But there's like, I don't really care for aliens. I don't really care for zombies. I don't care for slasher. I like certain stuff. I really like good versus evil. That's what I like. I like good versus evil. Things that are, I don't really care for apocalypse and that kind of stuff. I like witchcraft. I like voodoo. I like supernatural. I like that stuff. But anyway, I'm willing to sit through all of it because I love the whole writing aspect of it. I love and I love the way that Ryan puts his thing on. I like Ryan's aesthetic. So this is like really good for me. I am going to enjoy this. Anyway, so let's get into this episode, which is called Drive-In. And this was the thing that I was so here for. They literally changed the opening to match the episode. I said, baby, that's what I'm talking about. Don't spare no coin, because that's gotta cost money. That's gotta cost money. If we're gonna have a different opening for every episode, that had to cost a coin. And that's one of the main things about American Horror Story. It's one of the things they're known for is their opening. Their opening will turn some people away. Like you hear the music doesn't change, but just the visuals will turn some scary folks. They'd be like, oh hell no, and they'll go on about their business. So I was so here for that. Perfect touch, Ryan. Yes indeed. Okay, we start open. We got Chad and Kelly. Chad and Kelly are doing what teenagers do. They up there trying to get it in. Kelly's giving, boy, you're not great, get it all like that. But they watching Bob Ross. He over there painting. I said, not sexy. But anyway, she ends up getting upset. He ends up saying some stupid mess to her about, you didn't make so-and-so a person wait long to get you, and here come to find out it was all a lie. You know how that goes, child. We all been to high school. And she never actually even slept with that person. That's just a whole rumor that person put out. She never even slept with him. She is this, her little bestie is a little gay boy. And again, we see this is totally a sign of the times where the kids are all cool. And this is how the kids are for the most part now. They're all cool. It's like a set of them. They have the one friend who is, he doesn't have a girl, but he talks the most shit about getting some snatch, but ain't had none, child. And they have the other little friend here. He is what we call Butch Queen. You don't know he's gay from just looking at him, but he actually is gay, and he likes her bestie. And then you got her, and then you have the other little boy. And I'm like, it's so funny because they're all mixed. They're, have all the descent. She looks to be Hispanic. The other boy, the one boy looks to be of mixed race, and the other boy, two of the boys are white. And I'm like, this is how the kids are. This is what the world's supposed to be, where everybody gets along and everybody's fine and nobody's really caring and pointing out, oh, you're different. So I loved that, seeing that. And there are kids like that, they just all hang together and they're all cool with each other. So this was the thing. So the boys had actually got together and had told Chad, listen, because Chad told, oh, I read up, there's like this whole audio sensory thing, with Bob Ross is supposed to be so relaxing and it makes the girls give it up. They were like, no, that doesn't work. So they started talking about this urban legend, which is this movie by this guy named Larry Bitterman, and the movie's called Rabbit Rabbit. And it's an urban legend that back in 1986, when there was a screening for the movie, it was the first screening, and like over 60 people, I think it was 66 people, all went crazy in the movie theater and just killed up everybody. And after that, there's this new screening of the movie out of nowhere, and they're like, child, again, it's an urban legend, so some people believe it, some people don't. But there was a whole court case and all of that. Of course, we have access to the internet. So old Chad done went and researched, and he got the last 2 tickets so they could all go. So they're all going to this drive-in and all of this. He watched on YouTube, honey, like we all do, the court case. There's a woman named Tipper Gore who was she's talking her stuff, and she got everything done and moving. Larry Bitterman, she said, you know what? As he was very smug about it, about what had happened. And you see her tell him, the movie's been pulled. Your movie's been pulled everywhere, and all the copies have been destroyed. And he literally snaps out in the courtroom, runs up, jumps over the thing, calls her a bitch, and chokes her out. He didn't kill her, but he did choke her out, and that was that. That's pretty much all you see of that. And he's like, so interesting. So, of course, our teenagers are stupid, and they're going on to the movie theater. Well, when it's all going down, we actually see the folks lining up in the movie theater. I said, that's just how people are. Just always want to do it, whatever it is. Love urban legends, love to be scared, and that was what they had told him. Girls will give it up when you scare them. I don't know where they got that from, but I guess horror movies do state that, because all the Friday the 13th, all the Halloweens, most horror movies, people are getting down and they get tore at while they're getting down. Anyway, there was a lady protesting outside of the parking lot. We found out later she was actually one of the people who were there at the 1986 screening and made it out. Her boyfriend literally jugged her eye out and ate it. And she ended up talking to Chad. And Chad, see, this is the thing about following your first mind. Y'all hear me say that a lot of time about following your first mind. Chad had a feeling that this wasn't the get down in the beginning. And it came to him a couple times. If you see any of the Final Destination movies, he was having these types of moments all throughout this whole thing. But he didn't listen. You're supposed to always listen to your first mind. I don't care. There's a small inner voice in you, and it's there for a reason. A lot of people think it's, a lot of different things. I think it's the voice of the divine, It's like an angel sitting on your shoulder telling you no. When it's telling you no, it's probably in your best interest. I've literally, and I'm going off topic here, but I have literally turned my car around going on vacation because the little voice in my head said don't do it. And my best friend, he could tell you, I was literally on my way out of here going to DC this one time years ago, back in the early 2000s. I was on my way down to visit Chet, and I was going to get on the road, and something said no. I got off of the interstate and turned around and came back home, called him on the phone and told him I'm not coming. He's like, what's going on? And I just said, something is saying no. Something, and to this day, I don't know. Nothing happened, or I don't know. But something said no, and it was so heavy on me. And I just said, I ain't doing it. And I came home, and he was a little disappointed that I wasn't coming because we had planned it and everything. He's a little disappointed that I didn't come, but he knows me. And he said, listen, and to this day, we've mentioned it and talked about it a few times since then. And he's like, listen, I don't, when your little voice starts talking to you, I just don't question it. I just kind of go on with it. And he's just like that. He always says, you know, I never question that when that happens with you. If you ever feel some feeling, I just don't want to know. If you feel like it's up, tell me. You know, don't do it, but I don't want to know. Like, if you think something's getting ready to happen to me, don't tell me. I don't want to know. So, anyway, I said all that to say this. That little small voice, you're supposed to listen to it. It's my belief. Anyway, so back to what we're doing. Back off my soapbox. Boom, 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 bam, and I'm back. Okay, and I wouldn't say that I was superstitious, because I'm not. Like, I don't care about brooms and umbrellas and houses and all that shit like that. But when that little voice talks, James listens. SpillitBoyTV, he listens to the little voice. So that's that. Whoop, whoop. I listen to my little voice, okay? Anyway, so let's go. All right, so his little voice keeps on, and he keeps getting these little signs, but he ain't paying no attention to it. So the lady had told him, pull the plug, find the power. Don't let this go down. I'm telling you, you're going to die in there if you don't. You just don't do it. And they were thinking, oh, well, she's like a plant. The little girlfriend, Miss Kelly. Oh, she's like a plant or whatever. You know, it's all for publicity. He said, no, I don't think she's a plant. She's so serious, and she was so, you know, she really seems so genuine. I said, she genuinely had a goddamn eye missing. But anyway, so that was that. The movie gets started. Okay, we actually see the lady who's actually played by Adrienne Barbeau from Swamp Thing back in the day. She still look good. She looks good for her age, because she's up there, but she's still doing her thing. So shout out to her. It was good to see her. If y'all don't know Swamp Thing, go look at Swamp Thing. Was a whole movement. That Swamp Thing, child. It's a whole thing by itself, that damn Swamp Thing. But anyway, she kind of ran the theater. I think she might have been the owner. Her, and there was a young guy, and she was saying, I don't even know where person is with the cut. If they don't get here, you know, this is supposed to bring us out of the black. Because so it's actually present day, because you know nobody goes to, you know, the movie theaters and stuff since the pandemic and that had, or really they have taken a hit. But anyway, so we are in present time in this. Then the guy actually shows up and everything, and he's telling her, you got to play it as this way, that way, or the other way, because it has to play this way for it to be the best effect, blah, blah, blah. He says, you know, this is what the distributor says, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I've been around, I know what I'm doing, this, that, thing, and the other. So she gets to play in the movie. So we get to see right away, we start seeing it. Everybody who is really paying attention to the movie, you can see them. You see the blood, the whites in their eyes, all the white part in their eyes start to like get like bloodshot, like their veins are starting to pop and different things. And the ones that get overtaken and they basically possess their eye, the black, their pupil just goes completely black, and then it like spreads like somebody dropped paint, and they just go off. Okay, and it literally drives them mad. It drives them mad. Now let's talk about what's happening in the cars. Old Kelly decided that she was ready, because her little friend, her little gay bestie told her, girl, stop being scared to the date, girl. And meanwhile, he just talking mess himself, and he a little slutty. He told his little friend, he said, you know you got some guys, you got to take them out a lot of times before you could actually hit. He like, I'm not one of those guys, honey. And he gets in there and get the blurping the boy's bird, honey. He blurping bird. The boy ain't paying no attention to the movie because he got his head back giving, oh, give it to me, honey. But she nabby. Little child, he nabby. He down there blurping bird, and every time he come up, he looking. Child said, Lord have mercy. Child, he done paid attention. He's listening, because you have to listen. It's all of it. It's you're looking and you're listening. He's listening, and watching while sucking, and he didn't went mad, honey. Next thing you know, he done took and bit old boy's whole shit, just done bit it, and then spits it out, and then just attacks him. And their veins, like all of this, just they go into like their possession takes them into a whole zombie-like state, and they get to looking crazy. That was a little because you know I don't like zombie movies, so that was like but okay, I'm following the story. I'm just going to have a good time here. So that was that. So they go into that. I was like, okay, cool. So he's doing that in that car. The other little guy, we haven't seen him because he was in the car by himself. He was in the car in between the two, and they're in the back seat. So they're getting down. Kelly and Chad is in there getting ready to get down, and the windows are all fogged up, and they start hearing noises, and they start looking, and they're like, what the heck is going on? And he told her, don't get out of the car. Don't get out of the car. Because, you know, we don't know what's going on out there. She's like, this is all some, you know, they just being funny. He's like, no. Next thing you know, the window breaks. Bam, in the back. And somebody's trying to get in and trying to get them and everything. So she jumps up in the front seat. Chad is in the back seat fighting with this guy. The guy is like, he beating the hell out the guy. The guy done like put himself up in the thing, and he's pulled into the car. He's trying to get him. And you just see all the I mean, it is complete pandemonium. And it was exactly as they said. The people had lost their minds and they were going the hell off. So all of this is going off. She's driving. She can't see. By this time, Chad has kicked the man out of the car. They both, he's in the back seat and she's driving. And the boy that was in the car by himself, we ain't seen him, but her little bestie done jumped up on top of the car. And he is banging on the glass. And she's like, oh my God. And he's like, just drive, drive, drive. I'm like, I don't know why. He didn't tell her, like, hit the brake, like slam on the brake, and it would make him fall off the car. But no, he just kept telling her to drive till she ended up, like, literally running into the wall and smashed her friend. Boom. So she ended up killing her bestie. Okay. In the midst of that, let me move from there. And let me go on over back up into the booth, into the theater booth. Up there, the lady who was running the place, she was watching the film. And we saw her eyes go. She gone, okay? By this time, the lady who was protesting had eased her way up into the booth and was getting ready to pull the plug on it. And the other boy who was actually helping said, hey, you're not supposed to be up in here, which tipped her off. And she turned around and because she's smoking a cigarette, she turns around and she sees the lady, and we see she's all whacked out. The lady's like, oh shit. She knows the look because she'd already been there back in '86. Girlfriend leaped on her baby, grabbed a damn pair of scissors, and down in her other eye. Child, I said, oh girl, they done got you, honey. She pulled her guts all out, child. She like gnawed them out with her teeth. Gnawed them out. And then the friend is like, oh my God. The guy that was helping run, she leaped over there and attacked him. He was all jacked up. So we don't see her no more. Now, all the people in the theater are just running mad. They didn't kill whoever they're going to kill there, and they're just after whoever else is not possessed. And that's the crazy thing. It was like this whole zombie thing. The zombies weren't after each other. They're after anybody else that wasn't undertaken. Like they knew. So I was like, okay, so we really going something with this. I'm like, okay, but we're going to ride with the story. You know, normally I'd be like, So they're chasing them because right away, it's like they can sense them. Those two, they're running. They lock themselves into the thing. And they're in there. They see the dead woman with her guts hanging out, and the other guy working the thing, he's over there, but we don't see the lady. They don't know the lady's up there. I said, where's she at? But they're in there. Next thing you know, they get attacked by her because she pops out of nowhere. She starts attacking them. In the midst of this going on, they're trying to still figure out what all has happened. Chad has been actually looking at the movie. He's been paying attention to the movie. And he was partially possessed. It was taking him over. So when the lady jumps out and she attacks Kelly, it snaps him out of it, but he's still partially there. So the killer on the inside of him has been ignited. Okay? But he ends up taking it out on the woman to save Kelly. And it was like he had went over the top. Kelly ain't really paid that much attention. She just, I'm like, it was just the passion in his killing is where you could tell. Because he took a film reel and just bashed her whole skull in. Bashed her. He's like, bitch. Fucked her up. And Kelly was like, Chad, that's enough. And he blacks out. So she says, you know, she's sitting there and she's like, okay, he wakes up and he's like, how long I've been asleep? She's like, oh, a couple of hours. Now this part of it didn't make too much sense because you got the whole movie theater. There's like 60 people. There was like 60 tickets sold. So there's like 60 people that were all chasing y'all and they just stopped chasing y'all. I guess they were stupid. After they couldn't get to y'all, they just went on about their business. That didn't make sense. But anyway, so she's sitting there. And she's just sitting there. And she's watching him. He wakes up. And she's like, okay, cool, no problem. She's like, okay, they get the address. They like, there's another, because they were talking about another filming, another screening, a bonus screening the next day. They said, we got to go figure it out because they claimed this was the last film, but they knew there was at least one more. So they said, we got to go and take care of that. They're like, we're not going to get the police involved because they're not going to let us. They're going to think we're crazy. They're going to put us in a room and they're going to start questioning us. It's going to be going down. So they're like, okay, cool, we're going to do it ourselves. There was a shotgun there. They got the shotgun. He's asking her, do you know how to use? She's like, I know how to use this. My father's a Marine. She's like, okay, cool, boom, no problem. They go to leave out of there. And they're coming down, and they're like, well, where's all the people? You know, they're being real careful. They get down there, and one person left. It's the old boy that was in the car by himself. He's approaching them. Now, he's looking, he been tearing on himself and looking real crazy. And that's the other thing. They hurt themselves, too. So they was looking real crazy. He's coming up, and he's talking to him. He's trying to talk him down. He got a pair of scissors in his hands. He took a pair of scissors. She got the shotgun. He's down there, and long story short, he's trying to talk his friend out of it. Can't be talked out of it. He ended up, the friend went to run up on him, and he had to juke him, honey. So he ended up killing his bestie. So now we got the both of them. They're both traumatized. He got partially possessed, but I think once he blacked out, he was okay. But they still are both traumatized because they've been through a nightmare, and they both ended up having to kill their besties. They got the address for the distributor. They go way out. They find everything. It's Larry Bitterman. They find when they pull up, it's a trailer. It's a trailer, but there's a Rolls Royce outside. Beautiful white Rolls Royce outside. They bust up into the trailer. He's in there. He's watching the news, and he's so excited because this is the thing. He's mad. He's mad. His whole thing is he is a madman. He wanted to be like Spielberg. He kept referring to Spielberg as big and that kind of thing. He wanted that type of fame, you know, and he had become infamous. Okay, so he's like, okay, well, I really want to be infamous, so this is his thing. And they end up going, and she's got the shotgun on him and all that, and he ends up telling them, just hold on. He ends up going and he starts telling them the story. He explains everything to them about how it was done, the splicing of the film, and what actually makes the people go mad, and all of this, and he compares it to some of the things that were actually done in the movie The Exorcist back in the day. And he says, yeah, I used to work there. I was actually one of the he was like a low totem pole person on The Exorcist film, and this, that, and the other. He just, over the years, took the things that was always his thing, was just he wanted to do, like how The Exorcist made people throw up, and it did. That's true, that some of those things, you know, the sounds and the imagery mess with people. He just wanted to take it to another level, and this is what he had actually done. So he goes through, he tells about the screening, he tells about the court, situation. He tells her he had to do 15 years in jail. While in jail, the 15 years, he continued studying this, that, thing, and the other. She's like, okay, all right, cool. And then he's like, yeah, he's like, now, the thing, he's like, but see, you two, if y'all were there, how are y'all here? And he's like, damn it, y'all were over there getting butt bald, naked, and raw, doing it raw. See, that's why I always hated drive-ins, because people, there's always somebody that's going to be doing it and not paying attention to the movie. You ought to pay attention to the movie. So now he was offended. And they're looking at him and saying, he crazy as hell. Child, she just popped him in his knees. Back, back, with the gun. She just shot him in the knees. He's like, oh my God. She's like, tell us where the other cut is. He said, I look, because he had literally tore the whole movie up. Chad had torn the whole movie up while they were at the other place. He just ripped it all out and tore it up. He said, there were no splices. There was no splices. So that means it was a copy. That wasn't the original. The original is somewhere around here. Where is it? And after she shot him, she's like, he's going to shoot him again. He's like, okay, it's over there, this, that, the other. It's my life work. He took it and sat it on the stove and turned the stove on. And that was that. And he's like, yeah, you're going to go down. You're going to be infamous, all right. But see, you put us in a horror movie. How dare you? How dare you put us in a horror movie? This, that, thing, and the other said. So now you're going to be in a horror movie as well. So they set the trailer on fire. As they're leaving his trailer, he says, you're goddamn right it was a horror movie. And you just don't even know. That was just Act 1. It's not over. And he said, I have a Rolls Royce. Ask yourself why. And I bet you're not going to fucking like the answer. Crazy as hell. And it's all going up in flames. And I'm saying, okay. And then I'm thinking to myself, Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone. It's never over. It's never always over. There's always another kick. Ryan Murphy. There's always another kick. Sure enough, the scene goes over. It's done. Them two going about their business. They ain't said nothing. I guess they gonna keep the secret to themselves. But they go and they end up getting down. They in the room. They getting down. And it pans over to the computer. Lo and behold, honey, 2021. The screen changes. Netflix. New release. Streaming now. It's the movie. Rabbit. He sold it to Netflix, and that's why he said, I have a Rolls Royce, because he's paid as hell, because he had a big deal with Netflix, and they're streaming, and you look out the window, and you just see the whole apocalypse. You just see the city just going, places going up in flames, things bursting, you hear people screaming, a whole mess. I was so here for it. I was so here for it. And again, I don't like the whole apocalypse thing. I don't like the zombie thing. But the story of it and the lesson that it actually taught, I was here for it. I like good writing. I like good writing. Some of this was very clever. It was clever. Some things was kind of like, oh, that's corny. Oh, that's been done already. But the whole thing about just times, like how we've moved along with the times. As far as how streaming services now and how quickly things move around and how slickly things move around, as opposed to back in the day when we had to actually do film reels and VHS tapes and all of that. So that part of the story I absolutely loved. I love. So I was totally here for it. I am here for this. Oh, and then, you know, they always have a little thing. They were playing this song, and the song kept saying, there will be blood. When they were leaving the trailer, you kept hearing there will be blood. That's why I knew. I was like, no, it ain't over, child. So, very good. I am enjoying, look, I am going to enjoy this series. Yes, I am. And I will be here reviewing. And on that, I'll see y'all on the next episode. Later, you guys.